Okay.
Good afternoon. Welcome to the crypto market update. I'm your host, Alan Wazny, and on the line, on a Zoom call, we've got Mark Magliocco of X528.
Hello.
Mark, I should say a little caveat that all discussions in today's episode are for informational purposes only and should not be relied upon as legal, business, investment, or tax advice. You should consult with your own advisors as to those matters. References to any securities or digital assets are for illustrative purposes only and do not constitute investment recommendation or an offer to provide investment advisory services. So, Mark, with no further ado, where do you want to go? Do you want to
Did you
start with the
say
charts?
we'll provide in securities or in like in and then securities? I see. Not in. I thought you like combine the word into like we're selling insecurities.
I
No,
can
we're not.
repeat that. References to any securities or digital assets are for illustrative purposes only and do not constitute an investment recommendation or offer to provide investment advisory services.
That's it. Nice. Yeah.
Okay.
I was actually just kidding, but all right, nice.
So
yeah.
Mark, it's been a while. You and I did this. This is our first episode, 2023. We did 10 episodes, I think, in a different life. So we're episode 1, November 16th, 2023. Mark, what do you want to talk about first?
Oh man, I mean, yeah, we could do like a quick little catch up on life. It's been a while, right? Yeah,
You're
we've been
talking
busy.
crypto,
Like
Mark. So the charts go to okay. Just for the context, last time you and I talked on a podcast or an episode of any, I think Bitcoin was trading around 18,000. Now let's go. Let's jump to the charts, Mark, because you pretty much.
I was gonna give an update on like our project, man. Like what's been happening with the project since the last God, it's probably we haven't done these since like Christmas. It's been a while, right? But yeah, I did want to do like a quick shameless plug of the project and like where we're at
All right,
with
Mark.
X528.
This is sponsored by X528.
Well, it is crypto news, right? So yeah, I mean we built our own DEX aggregator, so similar to a 1-inch clone, although it's our own custom algorithm. And that went live on mainnet 3 days ago. So now we are in the process of see my dog in the background.
The dog is jumping up and down with joy
I
at
know
the
she's so
X528
restless,
updates.
man. She's like the most restless dog. She just wants to go outside and play. But yeah, so we've got that now, just onboarding some beta testers, working out the kinks, and then we will be going live with that baby pretty soon here. So stay tuned. One of these podcasts, we can even do a quick demo of the product, which would be nice. But yeah, we've been busy. We've been working.
I think your timing is perfect. Not perfect, but I've been in the crypto space since 2017, and it's there's been ups and downs, and there's been ups and downs. So this is probably one of those little ups right now, and it's a good time you've been building. And there was an expression called hodler, and Mark, you guys have been bidlers. If you know that expression, you've been a bidler for the last couple of years, which is hats off to Magnus and the team, and you and the team. And so literally, I'm glad this is a good time to rekindle the podcast. On your Kindle. You got this on your Kindle reader, don't you?
On my Kindle reader, no. But yeah, I mean, hats off to Magnus. Definitely, he's a powerhouse in the tech side, man. That guy is a whiz. So yeah, a lot of all credit due to Magnus, that's for sure. And if you don't know who Magnus is, that's our CTO. Hopefully, we can have him as next episode. We should do a demo of the platform and have Magnus on the call, and he can be there like helping demo and explain the tech how it works.
Well, I still go back to the Rinkeby testnet when good old Magnus did it for our project back in 2018, and I was like, whoa. So I was wowed back then. I'm sure it's going to be very similar today. So, Mark, with no further ado, let's get into the charts. Are you ready to tee that up?
Sure. Yeah.
This is always my favorite part, Mark, because you always understand. You understand this really well. So Kathy Wood is bullish on Solana. She's Kathy Wood's from.
I was trolling some. Kathy Wood from ARK. She's also a crypto person or crypto advocate.
She's very bullish. She's been bullish when the bears have been running around. She's still a bull. So
yeah. Well, I'll say so. Looking at the charts, I mean, it looks very promising. Like, I mean, we had that really big drop that dipped down to like 17,000, right? Which is probably about almost like a year ago, right? This is December of last year. So yeah, looking at November. It was it was probably almost a year ago. And since then, if you were wise enough to buy at the low, and everyone thought crypto was going to crash, which they always do, crypto's
Yeah.
crashing, sell all your crypto. Had you been wise enough to buy, so this is actually this is November.
Buy
This is
low. Isn't that an old school philosophy? Buy
yeah,
low, sell high, right? So
that's it, man. So yeah, had you been wise enough to buy in November the 13th, so yeah, exactly a week ago, you would have bought Bitcoin for 16,000 around there.
and well
Today
over
it is
double.
now at 36,000. So you would have made 20 grand had you bought Bitcoin,
Yeah,
one
it would have been
Bitcoin a year
doubled
ago.
your money or
Yeah,
more. That would
that's
have been
it.
more than double.
Or more, yeah. Yeah, man. So even Ethereum got Ethereum to hit like 800 bucks at one point. I was like, this is a really good buy. Solana, same shit. But
You
yeah,
know,
looking at
Mark,
it, so
when I got into space, I can't Bitcoin. I mean, it was going up 1,000 a day. It hit 19,000. That was 2017 December, right? And that was at the all-time high at the time. But Ethereum,
mhm,
when it hit 400, I mean, I remember trading at 100. I was like, gosh, it's really overpriced. And then it hit 400. So yeah,
mhm.
it's all relative.
It's all relative, man, but it just keeps going up. That's the thing, right? It just
So
keeps
let's say,
going
so
up.
what am I seeing, Mark? I mean, you're the candlelight. The candles are green. What
Yeah,
is there?
it's
There's
lighting up. That's what it means.
yeah. So what do
But
we for
yeah,
the
so
non-educated or the non? Yeah, because you work the charts for. I mean, you really work your way around them. Is there any
I
trend
do
line there?
enjoy.
Like
Yeah, I enjoy technicals, man. So the candlesticks, like what this means. So, and not to get too technical, but it shows the open, the close, and the high and the low for well, we're in the weekly
yes,
view, so for the week. So here it's saying that it opened at well, I can just show here. So it opened at 29,000. It hit a high of 35,000, and then it closed at 33,000. So it's kind of like how you
okay,
can read the candles. But what it means is like you can see there's a lot of buying pressure here, which started mid-October, so about a month ago. There was a lot of buying pressure, right? And it's like really been pumping up the price movement. And like even here, this is a really good sign because like as it's coming up, it was still so like typically for technical analysis, the movement's gonna trend along the trend line. That's what they call it. Like, well, like you make your
is
own
that
trend
the
lines,
red
but like
line?
moving average.
Which line is the? Because there's a down line. There's this
Yeah,
one going
so
across. Is that 200? Is that a
no,
200 moving
I
day?
got all kinds of moving averages going on. I
Yep.
mean, yeah, I've got like a series of moving averages. So you got it just tells you like how the price is moving over time, right? But so if you look at the gold one in the middle here, that is the 9-day moving average. The green one is a 20-day moving average. The red one coming through is a 100-day moving
Okay.
average,
So
sorry, 200-day moving average.
yeah,
And then so it's just like telling you, so like basically it's saying the lagging indicator, which is this 200-day moving average,
yeah.
is like so like the 9 and the 20 days are leading indicators, so they're showing you the direction where it's heading, and then it's showing you like where it came from, so the lagging indicator. And the good thing is like now if you see here this
Yeah, the
cross,
bottom.
well you can see like on this big jumble of lines, but the yellow nut line, which is the 9-day, the green line, which is the 20-day, has crossed the red line here. You can see like now they're going above it. Does that make sense? You can
Yep,
see here. So
absolutely
here's
makes
the
sense.
yeah. So here's the red line, right? That's the red line there. That's the 200-day moving average. And you can see that they've crossed going upwards in an upward direction. So that means that's like a pretty monumental sign telling us that there's going to be a breakout in Bitcoin, which there was, right? So when it did cross, which was like right here, if I get really into it, you can see where the lines crossed here and
Yep.
then it crossed here. So
In this
that
case,
was a
people say you don't want
bullish
to get your
sign.
lines crossed, but here we do want the lines to cross in
Exactly.
in the upward direction.
Right. So when that cross happened, that was a bullish sign. You can see it did indeed break out. And the good news is like if it was a limited breakout, it would have like sold down like last week, or as you can see, it's really like ripped, like ramped
Right.
off moving average here. And typically like it'll stay pretty, you can see like all historically like it usually stays along the moving averages, right? But when it pops off like that, it's like man, it will come back down at some point and like come close to the moving average. But
But some
here it had
profit
a
taking,
chance
probably
to
some
do
profit
that.
taking. That red there's probably a little bit of profit
Yeah,
taking some profits off the table.
it's market makers. It's yeah, honestly that's what they're kind of it's weird like technical analysis how it works, but what they do is they try and like smooth the price movements, right? So
Yep.
they do smooth it by keeping it close to these moving averages. So like you wouldn't get, yeah. Anyways, when you usually see like the movements and the sell-offs, they don't want to see like a massive continuing like ramp all the way up, right? Because that's just what they do is they try and keep it like a smooth price movement either up or down. But so I think what we'd see here, and like this is pretty much the end of this week, which is it's a good sign because like the buying pressure held. So you can see like it had tried to sell down lower, but there was
And then
buying
pop
pressure
back up.
that brought the price back up. Yeah, so I would say next week like it's catching its moving average, so it's probably going to tread water next week. I would expect it to be around like 30 to 36, maybe like 30 to 38 somewhere. Where did they hit the highs of here? Yeah, 38. I would expect it to be like similar price movements next week. And again, this is not advice, so don't hold me to it. But as it gets closer to this moving average, and then if the bull run is to continue, it would continue going up from there. So I would say next week it's probably going to hold steady around like 30 to 38,000. Be a good time to run a straddle option strategy if you're into options.
Nice.
Yeah, and then because I mean you basically taking profit as long as the price doesn't move between the straddle, you're making money.
That's is that
That
a
would be my
long? Is
guess.
that long the shares and or long the coin plus a put option? Is that what that
Yeah,
is? Straddle.
exactly. Yeah,
Okay.
exactly. You're selling puts and then you're also long, but and it like creates a kind of like window where your price movements can be,
But see,
or
this
iron
is this
condors
is.
also.
Mark, I'm excited to talk about one of the new. I'm not looking at some of the funding announcements, and one of them that I'm going to talk about later is it's literally just old school. When I was in the '80s, going to University of Calgary, and we were taking getting a newspaper out and checking the stocks. It's literally some of the principles now are into the crypto trading, and companies are getting funded for that. So it's interesting listening to you talk about straddles and put options, call options. Literally, this is
Hmm.
now more mainstream in crypto. Some of the
Yeah.
investing principles.
Oh, it's any way that people can make money on it, right? I mean, in my opinion,
Yeah,
crypto is just a new asset class that people can sell. And I mean,
that's
if you
right.
think about it, all right, there's like grain futures, oil futures, like anyone that's fucking buying, sorry, excuse my language, but anyone that's buying oil futures or grain, like none of them are buying it. I would say 90% of them are not buying it because they actually want to keep the grain or the oil. They're buying it because they want
Yeah,
to make money. They don't give a shit about the oil or the wheat or whatever they're buying. They just want to make money off the contracts, right? So it's irreplaceable. Like I mean, all right, granted that like it's a real resource and it does value, but it's like in my opinion, selling grain futures or oil futures is or trading in them is no different than trading in Bitcoin. It's just
that's right.
another asset class that people can make money off of, right?
So I mean, we could probably talk a little bit. You mentioned ETFs, which was a big move or big driver, moving it from I think late 20s to early 30s was the
Yeah,
moving. They're getting
very
closer
bullish.
to ETF status, and I don't know
Yeah,
if you have anything to share with that.
yeah, I did actually. There was nope. Yeah, BlackRock. BlackRock officially files for their spot Ethereum ETF. So get ready for an Ethereum pump, once that gets approved, right? And I think like BlackRock's is supposed to get approved next year. Maybe they're saying like early Q1 it should be approved for their Bitcoin spot ETF. Pretty sure. But yeah, I mean, exciting stuff. It means like institutional adoption of crypto,
That's
which
right.
is both good and bad because in my opinion, like the markets are already like the traditional markets are badly manipulated by these institutions. They just like have so much power, so much control over the movements of the markets that
Sure, sure.
I just like yeah, it's crazy, like what they can do. And
But
now
that's
I
where I
mean
mean
it's
that's where the
crypto,
meme
right? So
stocks came in, right?
yeah,
That's where the meme stocks came into play at that time,
yeah,
and
GameStop, yeah.
where GameStop and companies that were just had no business being around in a sense, from traditional sense, and then they got a recovery through that. The Reddit, I guess,
Yeah.
the Reddit meme stocks. Yeah,
Yeah, I think GameStop, like, they're really, in my opinion, they messed up, man. They should have capitalized on that. Like, the stock went up like from a few dollars to like a few $100. And
Yeah.
instead of doing like a share sale or like anything to raise capital with it, they literally did nothing. It's like,
Well, then I
man,
think
you
the
could have
CEO
like
they
raised so
fired the
much money during
CEO, they
that time,
fired the
and they did
CF.
fuck all.
It's the same. They had a huge changeover in the management there, and recently they came up. We're going to do things different, and the
No,
CEO
like a bunch of
is,
idiots.
yeah. I
Like
mean, I
anyone that's
think what
still running a brick and mortar game, it's like you might as well be Blockbuster at that point, honestly.
Well, I can't believe it. Even here in Calgary, you drive up. There's a Walmart, and right next to it, in a little strip mall, the mall shopping mall, is a GameStop. Sits there, and I'm like, man,
Hmm.
that's so old school. And you're right. I
Right?
think what they should have done is partnered up with a digital, some kind of gaming. Somebody,
Yeah,
maybe took some
or create their
shares and
own. Like
yeah,
they easily could have done that. Just like poor management, in my opinion, man. A bunch of
yeah.
moron. Sorry, I shouldn't say that, but I mean they obviously had a successful company at some point. I just think, yeah, they could have like really done a lot more with it, in my
But
opinion.
that
I
so
mean,
so to
who
the
am I to
point,
say that?
I think today's world when institutionals get in, maybe I think if they're going to go all over crypto, I think some of those there's that the non whatever institutionals will help balance that out hopefully. And I'm there's what 30,000 coins these days. There used to be about 20 when I first got
Oh,
into
so I mean,
space. It
it's like
was
every day, man. There's so many new coins coming out. That's
yeah.
just like it is literally the wild, wild west in crypto, man. It is
So
crazy.
anything else? I see you've got Dairy Queen teed up. Is
Yeah.
Dairy
Oh,
Queen issuing its
this
own
was an
coin?
interesting one. I had to pop it up just because it was
Yeah.
like Dairy Queen. I didn't even know Dairy Queen is still around, but they're doing an NFT thing in China, and then like the whole title was "Weirdo Ghost Gang for a Pop-up Experience," and I just had to read like, what is that?
Yeah.
So they're doing like some kind of NFT year-end winter party thing with this. I don't know who Weirdo Ghost Gang is, but it must be something popular in China, I'm assuming. Yeah, so like so the guests or whatever will find themselves immersed in a ghost ski resort
Yeah.
while fetching their favorite ice cream snacks. Seems cool. It's a fun idea. And I'm like, it just again solidifying there. You can see like the image there. It looks fun. But again, like, as mainstream adoption, yeah, that looks fun, eh? Very fun. Feel the winter. But
It's just unique. It's
yeah,
a
again, just
unique identifier. And if that's, you think of the word ghost in China,
mhm.
and in a few years back, there was this whole ghost cities. They had this massive boom, and they built cities, and they were looking for mass migration from the from a rural setting, and there was literally ghost cities which had nobody living in them, and they were massive
Right.
cities. So maybe that's where that comes from.
Oh, it could be. Yeah, I don't know. But it's cool to see because it's like, hey, when you got these big like traditional companies that are now partnering up and even like NFTs, right? I mean, that's a whole nother segment of crypto. So it's just cool to see. It's just cool to see it as like the
Well,
continuation of the mainstream adoption, right?
to that point, and NFTs did dry up a lot, and a lot of value dropped significantly. But this morning,
Yeah.
listening to a podcast, and Gary Vaynerchuk was on the Masters of Scale podcast, which is a very mainstream podcast, very conservative podcast. But they had Gary V and talking about NFTs. He said in 2021, he said NFTs would go to zero, but he said eventually
Mhm.
everything's going to be digital, and they're going to marry up with real world. Where they're selling, he said Fortnite, you're selling that they sell t-shirts. Did Fortnite grew up in the kids that grew up on Fortnite? It's a digital world, and now they're selling
Mhm.
t-shirts, and swag around the digital thing, but in real time. So the digital meets traditional, traditional meets digital.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, man, it's crazy. There's still some NFT collections that they've held their value even through the crash. I mean,
Sure.
I also thought NFTs would be like zero at some point. And I think nowadays, I mean, I would say 90% of NFTs, even like new ones that come out, it's there's so many NFT collections, it's really hard to like come up
I
with a
think it's going
good
to be a collab. It takes a collab with
get
somebody. I
a
mean, Mr.
community.
Beast. Mr. Beast is all over the place. He'll probably create something with his image, maybe in
Yeah.
partnership with some traditional old school. I mean, there's things happening all over. So I don't think NFTs are entirely dead, but certain ones, certainly projects will, like a lot of crypto, right? A lot of crypto
It's
projects.
just
You know,
it's tough. I mean,
but
it's tough like unless you have a real use case and I think that's what has happened since 2021 is
yeah,
like there was just so much popping up on everywhere and like didn't matter if you
sure.
had a use case or not, people were just throwing money at it. But now people are like, okay, if it has no use case, it's like it doesn't really
I
pop,
mean,
you
Mark,
know. So
I just had a call earlier today. We were just talking about a little known, well-known group, or a little old group called Kiss. You know, the Kiss principle, keep it
who?
simple, silly. And
Who's
they are
this?
literally doing, I think, a tour. But, you know, that is an iconic brand that was
Hmm.
from the 70s. And you
Right.
imagine if you know, a collab with NFTs together with
I was
puppets
gonna say,
and,
are
you
they
know, what.
doing NFTs?
No, I said I can imagine that you can get a digital collectible with your ticket, with your, you know, a picture of Gene Simmons or whatever it is, you know. And
Yeah.
I'm not sitting here saying the Kiss. There's certainly a genre around that, but kids know their songs because, you know, you know, they don't have to listen to it for the. They don't need to wait for a release. They just can download or they hear it on a series that they're watching in today's on Netflix or whatever. So the point is, the worlds are mixed between traditional and digital, and so there's the more people can bring them together, probably to be more successful. So I like this Dairy Queen thing. I really do. I don't know that
Yeah,
character
it's
either.
interesting, right? Just like something
Yeah.
different.
So
Yeah, so that's that.
What's Kathy Wood saying? Because I know she's
Oh yeah, yeah,
always
which
in the
one?
news. What's Kathy Wood saying these
Right.
days?
She is bullish on Solana. And the only reason I wanted to bring it up because like
Yeah.
Solana has popped, man, the last like and actually I was with somebody today and they told me like, yeah, they bought Solana when it was back at like let's see here. Yeah, I think like so this was a year. Yeah. I think they
Solana,
bought
well,
it
no,
like 20
no.
bucks.
Solana's
But
at
it's like
56.
3x since then, right? So yeah, it's like it's
I,
really popped. And this was like the
I
last
remember when it was
month,
150.
September,
So
man. Like look at this. This must be Kathy Woods. Like it's been a
yeah,
month and it's like gone up 300%, which is crazy, right? So yeah, but I mean there has been a lot of talk about Solana lately. It's been hot. It's personally, I've never actually used Solana, but I do know a lot of people that like Solana. And actually, for our protocol, we're looking to integrate Wormhole. Again, shameless plug. We're looking to integrate Wormhole for our cross chain just because they actually bridge to Solana. So we could integrate Solana into our network, which is pretty cool. But yeah, I think there is like a lot of projects, a lot of activity on Solana. Um, yeah, there's
nice.
like I have a few hesitations about Solana. Like I do think it's a little bit centralized and stuff, but still a cool protocol and yeah, nice to see it getting some promo from Kathy Woods.
Good. So
Yeah.
any other news you want to talk about? I'm looking at. I can see your
Yeah.
signboard there.
Oh, okay. This again another I think mainstream adoption. Or is there anything else I had that was fun? No, this is like probably the least fun one. South Korea's national pension service buys 20 million in Coinbase. But again,
Oh,
like it's good to see, and I think pension funds are very underlooked. Like they do have like there's pension funds with huge buckets, right? Like they've got I think the Norwegian one, I think that's like their oil fund or whatever, like that's massive. The
yeah.
Canadian pension fund also massive. Like they've got a lot of assets under management, right? So it's cool to see. And they also are very conservative about what they invest in, right? So it's good to see
Except there was a lot during the FTX scandal. It came out that there was a Canadian pension fund in Ontario. I don't know the name, but you
right.
know,
I
there
think
was,
Celsius also had the same thing. Like there was a Canadian pension fund that invested in Celsius.
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it is what it is, right?
That's bound to happen, right?
Should
Bound
have
to
done better
happen.
DD, you know?
Yeah, exactly.
Blows my mind that like some of these funds, like, God, that's crazy. If I was giving you a check for $100 million, I'd be want to see like where that money's been spent, quarterly updates. So, like blows my mind that these guys get away with
Sure,
that. It's like,
absolutely.
yeah. Anyways,
Okay, Mark. Well,
yeah, so that's pretty
thank you
much
for the
me,
news
man.
update. The
Yeah.
charts I'm going to share with you. If you can unshare your screen, I'm going to share
Okay,
you
yeah.
just a couple. Just is something I want to do is look at the news for funding announcements, because to me, and you've talked the shameless plug at the beginning for X528. You've been at this
Hmm.
for a long time, in my view, and
Yeah.
hats off to Continue
Journey.
Bidler. And the bidlers or the
Hmm.
builders do get
Yep.
rewarded if you mentioned the utility and you've got something that you can provide value. So the ones I'm going to share, and I'll just share my screen here
Yeah, absolutely.
because
Oh, sure, man.
this is just from the last week. All right, so if you can see
Yep.
that,
Ooh, blockchain.com.
blockchain.com,
You know they're an exchange, eh? Yeah,
well, I
crypto
didn't know
exchange and
that.
wallet provider. Yeah.
I didn't know that. So, I'll
Yeah,
let
they
you,
are a
if you want to
centralized
share anything,
exchange.
but they raised 110 million. And there's
Yep.
a lot of their cap table. I mean, who's who of, I'm not going to go there. I'm going to give
Right.
them the shout. I'm giving the shout out that, hey, these guys are still, they're been along in space for a long time. The crypto
Hmm.
exchange and a wallet provider. their valuation roughly half to what it was in 2022. They raised that 100 million at. Do you want to? Because I knew about blockchain.com. I just didn't know what they did.
Yeah, they're an exchange. They've been around for a long time. Actually, they were one of the first to get a VASP license in Cayman. So they are licensed to operate here, which is very interesting.
Nice.
Um, yeah, but the thing I used them a couple times, but it was like really
Yep.
stupid. I didn't like their user experience. I don't know how they got so big because like so I wanted to like quickly go and buy I can't remember what I was doing. I was buying something like USDT. I need to send something. I
Yep.
can't remember.
Yep.
But so you put your credit card or your debit card on there and you connect and you have to wait 3 business days before you can use it. I'm like, what a
Yeah.
stupid idea. Like who thought that that was a good idea? And like how is this like did anyone try and do a UX from like the user's perspective? Hey, I want to go buy crypto. Oh, now I gotta wait fucking 3 days? Like what a dumb idea. So I don't even think I ended up using them. It's like
So Binance. I had a Binance account from two. It was one of my first. I opened a Poloniex, Binance, and I can't Kraken. Three. So back in 2018, because I wanted to see, right. But I
yeah.
ended up legacy was Binance, and then they closed down in Canada. We got an email back in May. You got to close down your account, and it was end of October. So people gave me recommendations, a ton of different things. I tried Qcoin, it didn't work, and then
Mhm.
crypto.com. I mean, I've got it, and it was seamless, Mark. I tell you, within minutes, I transferred
Yeah.
over everything from Binance. Not that it was a lot, but it's seamless. The app is great, works. The UI UX is fantastic. So I'm
Yeah,
giving
I like
you know,
crypto.com. I mean, the only thing that, and same thing, like I was using them, like fuck, we started using them a couple of years ago now. But when we were first using it, it was still same stupid. Like I'm glad that they fixed it, but to me, like
well, it was
it
crypto
blows
to
my
crypto, but
mind.
I've transferred into my bank account again within minutes. Nothing,
Yeah,
no.
no, I was gonna say
Yeah,
like what they used to have is so if you wanted to transfer funds to a new wallet address, so like if you wanted to transfer your crypto out of crypto.com into a new wallet address, you had to
yeah.
wait 24 hours from adding the new wallet address before it got whitelisted. So like if there was times when I like urgently needed to transfer funds because I wanted to like use something, and I'm like, so I
Yeah.
added a wallet address and it's like 24 hours to fucking wait.
That's over now, Mark, because I just transferred, I think $200 or something like that. Literally nothing, Mark. It was a minute. It was
Oh, I
probably
know. They
20
got no,
minutes.
they got rid of that now. I
So
complained
you
to
could
them,
just
man.
go,
I
I
was
do not
like,
need to, whatever it is, some kind of a thing that says you just put, I don't need to verify this address or something like that. And it's brilliant. Okay. Well, look, thanks for the background on blockchain.com, because I didn't know, and I could, there's some well-known names in that company and investors. So, but let's look at the next slide.
yeah,
Okay. So you want to roll up your socks, Mark, and just,
yeah, okay. I don't
I,
wear any socks, so
yeah, you're in the Caymans. You probably wear flip flops all day long. So they raised
yeah.
2.8 million seed for,
Hmm.
nothing earth shattering like blockchain.com. But I like this as a crypto investing app. If you
Hmm.
read the article, I can send you the link and put it in the show notes. They have stop loss and limit orders. I just like, whoa, this goes back
Oh,
to my early days of trading. It's like stop loss is great. And it's
crypto
really just
investing
mainstream kind
apps.
of principles, right? And then the last thing I liked, and it's like they they give
But
gradings.
like,
Sorry.
yeah, I was gonna say, I mean, it blows my mind that these guys raise money. It's like, do you know how many crypto invest? Like every single exchange, even within DeFi or centralized exchanges, allow this. Like crypto investing, stop loss, limit orders. I mean, maybe not this like token risk grade. I don't know how they're like determining that, but maybe they're just gonna have like the top, I don't know, 20
I like that
crypto.
feature. I like that last feature because it's not every the shit coin out there, and they
Right.
literally said no meme stocks in their portfolio. I like it. I think this should be adopted more.
Well, I
That
mean, they're missing out.
risk
I
rating.
mean, imagine like if you couldn't buy SHIB or like Dogecoin from the beginning. But I think this sounds very centralized to me though. Like it doesn't sound it sounds
Probably is,
like
Mark. Probably
yeah,
is. Yeah.
I'm sure
Yeah.
there's like it blows my mind that these guys raised and it's like if I would like okay, we're going through the VC gauntlet now and the questions that the VCs ask us like it's like what's your go-to-market? How are you competing against your competitors? And I'm like, how do these guys bypass those questions? Because I could send them like 50 apps that are probably already established and being used that are better
Yeah.
than this app. So like, how are they raising money? Blows my mind.
I
But
think they just get
yeah, I'm
enough
sure it must
people
be a good
using it,
product.
Mark, and they create enough, volume of 3,000 people in their community. Maybe it's up in, this is San Francisco, and it's,
Mhm.
I don't know, this next one,
Yeah, it's very
they're
easy.
in the
It's like
UK.
it's like who you know, man. Honestly, it's the who's who club, right? But anyway, continue on.
So the last one, so this was just this past week. I mean, it's nothing, it started the first one was in today's Strictly BC newsletter. This last one was last week. And
Mm-hmm.
this is just facilitating payments using stable coins and and blockchain. It didn't say which blockchain.
This
Um,
is like man, this is another thing. It blows my mind
Simple
because
stuff,
there's so
Mark.
many
But
apps like this out there already that
this
exist.
is this is simple stuff. And I think, and listen to someone was saying, I can't remember what it was, but the less, instead of trying to be everybody different, it was a handbag. It was something about a handbag, and they made this bag for mothers, working mothers. And it was a
Mm-hmm.
handbag that could take the laptop and a changing pad or whatever, right? It was Capital One was saying, make things simple in a world where everybody wants to do everything to everybody. And here you are, you've got stablecoins, blockchain, multi-currency transfers, and remittances. This is mainstream banking, Mark. This is fintech that
Yeah, but
allows.
you can do that on Revolut. Like that
Yes,
already exists.
of course it
And it's
does,
free, and it's like you can do all of
Mark.
that on Revolut.
I can quote you seven from today's Strictly BC. The number of companies on that are raised for
Yeah,
for whatever SaaS or whatever product, and that stuff exists.
I
But I
know.
think
But
the
that's what I'm
thing is,
saying. I'm like, what's their competitive advantage against Revolut or like, any other platform that you can do this on
they
with
have
people
users,
using their
Mark.
stuff?
People are tired of whatever, and they move over.
Well, they're
That's
in
it.
seed, so I would assume that they haven't even like launched their product yet.
You might be right. You might be right. So
Yeah.
anyway, that's that together 120 million in new funding. Two of them were seed. One is a very mature company. But that's history. That's a handful today, Mark. I want to do this every week where we just talk about, in addition to
Yeah.
your charts and down rounds or whatever. I mean, clearly blockchain.com has a down round, but you know what? The market's still it's not frothing, Mark, but I think there's still opportunities out there. So
Yeah, I think it's picking up, man. It's nice to see. It's like bull run. The bull run is coming. X528 is gonna be on it, man. We are gonna be on that motherfucking bull run ride.
well, Mark, this has been great, and we're back on track for we'll get
Mhm.
again next week. We'll make this a weekly event. You need to do your
Yeah.
homework. I need to do my homework, and
Oh, what homework? You're assigning me homework?
I'm just saying we need to
It's not
do
school
the
again.
research, dig down, look deep, and thanks again for folks, the two listeners out there, and Mark
Yeah.
and your
Is that me and
dog.
you?
I see your dogs in the background still. So,
Yeah, my dogs are chilling, man. Just living their best dog lives.
all right, Mark, have a great
All
rest
right,
of the week.
buddy.
We'll talk to
Always
you
good to
next
see
week.
you, man.
All right.
All right. Don't work too hard.
Okay.